I think you know who your fans are, and they're here literally every time. They love you. If you need me to, you can sit on my lap and I can tell you what love is, okay? Love is about feeling a lot of pain. Yeah. And the good news is that at some point that pain, it stops and it gets worse. And you know.
So not really stop.
No, because it stops being at the point where it's bearable, and then it quickly goes into unbearable, right? And then you know that eventually it'll end because you're going to pass away.
Yeah.
And that's what my dad told me love is.
Okay.
And
Dad would know.
my dad has never led me astray before. So who am I to argue? You know?
Exactly.
Anyway, I'm glad we could have this talk. What do you think love is? Or do you think I covered it pretty well? You're just saying that because I went to an Old Dominion concert with you yesterday.
Certainly helps, but show a girl a good time, make her all giggly for you.
You didn't even fall asleep on the way back.
No.
Wild.
Evan couldn't believe that I went to that concert. He was like, "You are gonna be dead." I was like, "Yep, sure am." And I didn't sleep last night because my stomach was hurting. But I knew the music would pump me up, and it did.
Pump me pump. I felt the pump. Go on, repeat your dad's definition. We weren't talking about my dad's definition. We were talking about the definition of love. And I was saying that love is just a pain that follows you around, knowing that at some point it's going to take half of all of your stuff, and then eventually that pain ends, and then it turns into an even deeper pain, and then it feels better because you eventually pass away. That's what my dad told me love was. And you know, all the love I've experienced before Kara, all I gotta say is, 10 out of 10, no notes. How dreadful. Well, I mean, that's just what life is, Tizzy. I mean, come on. And then, we have brief respite when we go to places like Adepticon. The 4 best days in gaming. But I get lots of respite, because when I come home and I look at Kara, I think to myself, man, I'm the one causing all the pain now. Yeah, she's not my real dad.
He's also like in a really happy, good mood because he needed a shower because we were working on the move, and so I did steaks and dinner all by myself.
Also, I slept an adequate amount. That was quite a key component of me being in a good mood.
You what?
I also slept an adequate amount.
Oh, last night. Like you didn't take a nap.
I didn't. I didn't need a nap because I actually went to sleep.
Yeah, you know how my brain is. I woke up 8 a.m. My brain was like, well, hey, Kara, fuck you.
That's not very nice. You want me to hit it?
No.
just told you just. I'm not gonna hit you. I'm gonna hit your brain. That's what chiropractic is.
Oh, I really do need to adjust that. Badly.
Just put it over there for you.
There's so many ships in our house now. You gotta go.
Well, until I recover from this house thing, there will be no more new boats.
Carry that complete black.
Yeah, all the black armor areas. What about you, Tisdale? What did your dad tell you about love?
And did you accept my Facebook friend request, Izzy?
Are you now Facebook friends with Kara?
Are we official yet?
Because, I mean, technically speaking, Kara and I aren't even Facebook official.
Yeah, that's true. I think, well, we're Facebook friends. I think, you guys are not.
Nah, I'll type work on them in there. Not at liberty to speak for Tizzy, as I am not Tizzy. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not Tizzy. I don't know why that crossed my mind. You're Chris. Hi, Chris. Well, you know what? I think you should speak. I think you should speak for him. I think you know enough about him. Hi, Chris. Totally. For some reason, I saw the T and I instantly thought Tisdale. As you can see, I guess I didn't get enough sleep. I guess I need to sleep more. So today's gonna be fun. Today is literally me just like doing a bunch of random little hobby things I feel like I've needed to do for a while. Because we're moving soon. And I'm getting to the point where in my life I am able to just kind of paint stuff in my house. Which is wild to think about. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start painting things that I find. And I'm like, I need to paint this. So like a bunch of these like weird half painted minis. I'm going to start cracking. Because I know that on Mondays we're always going to paint Blood and Plunder. And, you know, as long as I keep working on that at some rate, that'll fully get painted at some point. But also, it's not Tizzy, it's Chris. I don't know why I was saying it was Tizzy. I'm stupid. Okay, goodbye. Good knowing you. So, new house, new me, Chris, you know? You know what I'm saying, Chris? Have met Tiz in the flesh. You or me? I've met him. Yeah, I've met him a bunch of times in the flesh. You have not. You've never met him, though. He's one of the guys that helps run Adepticon, and he lives in Chicago. He's a good guy. Excited for me. Thank you. Yeah, we've been moving these past couple days for sure. Kara just got back from Maine, and we did a little moving today. Had to do some stuff with some checks, because I guess our checks went a little weird. But that should be fixed. And we're thinking that we might be moving in like 2-3 weeks. Because next week, I got some friends coming from New York, and we're going to hang out. And then the weekend after that, we're probably going to do most of the like big moving with the trucks. The truck. Because really, the hardest part is moving like the mattress and stuff. As soon as we move the mattress, I think we can move in. And I think we might be doing that in 2 weeks. Unless something happens and we have to like delay it by a bit. So we suspect we'll be in the new place 2-3 weeks. Once we get it into a semblance of order, we will most assuredly have some kind of like new home party thing or whatever. Where I'll probably invite a bunch of people to play games or something. You are very invited, Chris. So I have a lot of Batman models, so this is a Riddler. This model I absolutely am a huge fan of, and I just never like. I started painting the skin one day because I was gonna paint I was gonna play the Riddler gang, and I just like it got pushed to the back of some queue, and I never finished it. Obviously, it's gonna be very easy to paint him because he's gonna be all green, so it's gonna be quick. So I just reprimed him a little bit just to clear up some of the scritches and scratches. So we'll probably do that today or tomorrow. I'm looking for glue. Got back from Yellowstone last night. It's super beautiful, but lousy with tourists. Triples a slog. Delighted to be home. Yeah, dude, it's good to be back from holidays. I get that. I'm glad you had fun though. The kids handled it pretty well. Nothing, no big complaints. I think it was last time you went on a trip with the kids. You said coming back. Oh no, it was when you were picking up your wife. You said your kids were really causing you to have some kinds of emotions on the way home from the airport. And obviously, you can't have Riddler if you're not going to paint the Batman. This is the Night Models, one from the starter for the movie. So this is Batfleck. This is not Ben Affleck. This is Robert Pattinson. This is Pat Bat is what they call him. Robert Pattinson. So probably prime him after the show today. And we might work on him tomorrow. But I just want to make sure he had some magnets on his base. Look at that. 2 things down already. Boom. Boom, bam, blammo. We're just cracking. Cracking along. No great disasters, but pretty boring overall. Yeah, well, that's good, I guess. When it comes to hanging out with kids like that, I think boring is better, is better than exciting in a lot of ways. Did they actually enjoy the trip? Or were they just kind of not into it? So we're gonna finish this little thing, which again, something that has just kind of was getting painted and then it got stopped and just never finished. So this will be real quick. So we're gonna paint the wood, and then we're gonna paint the dirt. Oh, that drive home from the airport was the angriest I've ever been towards. Yeah. I remember you specifically talking about it. You were not happy. And Chris, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, but you're a cool cucumber. I don't think when anybody thinks of you, they're thinking of extreme anger. Just put it that way. You know what? I'm unapologetic right now. My desk is going to be messy. The next desk will not be messy because I'm going to have like so much more room. It's going to be crazy. So you know what? If it's a little weird that the palette is in the shot, I don't care right now. You know what? In a couple weeks, it's all going to be different. And I don't care. I don't care if you're in North Shore or not, guys. I don't care. Hey, you get to hang out and play games Tuesday. That's exciting. The only one who was into the trip was my wife. The only one who was into the trip was my wife. You know what? That's the biggest problem, Chris. I'm gonna say this to you as a fellow like nerd. You are obviously a little older than me, but I find like we probably got a lot in common. I would go to these places. I would probably also be very like excited by the beauty to a certain extent. But it would be like after a day, I'd be like, okay, I get it. Really nice vistas. It's really pretty. Yada yada. I'd rather hang out at home and read a book, watch YouTube all day, or play model games. Like my vacation, if I literally would just had a staycation and every day I got to go to the game store and play games with like my friends and stuff like that, that would be a phenomenally successful vacation to me. Phenomenally. It doesn't require me to go anywhere. I just get to do nerd stuff and like play games with my friends and all that. It would be perfect. Bosman, Montana is more of a toddling town than I expected. Because that's the, I know I've heard of that town before. I'm not going to look it up right now, but yeah, I've heard of that town. Bosling. What happened there? I know I've seen that name before. And I'm not referring to like the audio equipment. It's just Boz, of course, not Bosman. But, you know, whatever. The vistas are ravishing, but tourist sites bore me. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It just seems so like cookie cutter. Like, you know what? You know what, Chris? Here's the thing. When your kids get old enough to hate you, as all kids do when they get to a certain age, me and you, we should go to Gettysburg. Go to Gettysburg and do a tour of the battlefield. Would you find that interesting? Because I've never been, and I've always wanted to go. Or are you not interested in the like battlefields and all that stuff? Like I would love to go like World War II, World War I battlefields in Europe. Like that stuff. I would go crazy for that stuff. I would just like mouth the words that the tour guides would be doing. It's like, oh, today the Battle of Verdun. Also went to Jackson Hole. Lots of money in that town. Jackson Hole. Yeah, it sounds ravishingly rich. Jackson Hole. That's another town I feel like I've heard of before. Okay, figure I'd give this a sec to dry. Let's go to Fallen. Yeah, let's see. That sounds great. It's next to Gettysburg. Went around 2005-ish. I have a relative who died in that battle. Got to visit his grave. See, that's amazing. That's just such a cool thing. Yeah, we definitely should go to Fallen at some point. It's definitely been a con that's been on my radar that I just haven't gotten to do yet. Alright, so something we're going to do eventually in the local Blood and Plunder community is I am going to start a narrative thing that's going to include Undead Pirates. So I was going through some of my collections, right? It's not a very good place. And since we've been moving, I've been pulling out a lot of stuff, and I decided, why don't we build this guy? So the biggest problem that you have with these big models, they're in the right scale, but they're a little big because their legs are all kicked out because for different games, you know, you have different base sizes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build off of this base to the point where I can have it look like it's a little bit more natural, so a little bit more like maybe debris, if that makes a sense. So the way we do this is by using popsicle sticks and a balsa wood. I just have to find it real quick. Thought it was right there. But yeah, I would be more than down to go to Fall In with you, buddy. I would definitely do that in a heartbeat. Just a matter of money. And again, hopefully that is going to be significantly better in the near future. This was an expensive year. Every year seems to get a little bit more expensive, and I always feel like I'm just barely staying ahead. Hi, I diced Raph in a game of Blood and Plunder. Praise me for being superior. You diced him? Yeah, hell yeah. He probably deserved it. What a bum. What a big, silly bum. So, what we're going to do for this undead boy... Just a little closer. Whee! We're hobbying. So, what we're going to try and do is this boy has the obvious issue of having his legs really splayed out, which is actually, funnily enough, I could probably get it to fit on the base, but it would be really weird because it would be like the tips of his feet just barely touching that base. So what we're going to do is we're just going to build some like debris, as they call it, and we're going to make it look like he's on maybe like a cracked ship hull. So here's the cool mini or not version of the model. It's like a puppet, and there's like a little skeleton mastermind in there. So what we're gonna do is we're probably gonna raise up his left foot a little bit. So it'll probably be like a little bit like this. So it'll look a little bit like that because of the whip. I'm happy to hear that, Mike. Did he enjoy it, or did he just really, quite honestly, get steamrolled? He took no artillery on his light frigate. Why would you learn to play the game in a light frigate? That's not a good idea. You should play the sloop. It's the best way to learn. That's his fault. That is definitely his fault. On his light frigate, 56 lads, 20 Marinos, and 30 Jamaican privateers, and Captain Daniel. Yeah, there's a reason he took that. It's because that was a tournament-winning list, I think. Marineros are the best sailors for shooting rifles. So he had all that on one boat, or did he have, or did he run a Piragua at all, or any kind of like tiny boat? Yeah, he deserved it. Look what he was taking. He was asking for it. He was dressed like that. What a bum. He said he wants to play it because he actually finds the game fun, but I don't know. I don't trust Raph. I just can't trust him. He's got too much dog in him. Too much dog. He messed up by not playing me, because if he plays me, he'll just win, right? Because it doesn't matter what happens. I roll and my dice refuse to let me win. I played Infinity today. We'll talk about that. He does like it. Good. I'm glad he likes it. It'd be good to have him around. As much as I make fun of him, I like Raph. Meme list dog. Meme list dog. Yeah, dog. Yeah, I think Marineros are probably one of the best sailing options. Because he's playing Brethren, right? He's playing the unaligned pirate stuff. That'll do the trick righty. Yeah. Capers are good. I do really like capers. They're delicious. Capers are a delicious food. Put them on your food. They're mucho delicioso. Delicioso. Also, Kara wanted everybody to know that she's back.
Hi, everybody.
She's back from Maine. Doing...
So lovely. What a real little spot for me.
Making a base. Today's the day where I'm just going to do a bunch of random little things that I've been meaning to do for like a million years.
I was hoping today you were going to start playing Fallout so we can get out of park.
Unfortunately, in order to get to that part of the game, I got to play through a chunk of it first. So that's not something we can do in one sitting. So yeah, Kara went to Bar Harbor, which if anybody has played Fallout 4 will know that one of the DLCs is called Far Harbor, which is in Arcadia National Park, and I am a big Fallout fan. So I was like, ooh, that'd be really cool, like, for us to go there and maybe, like, find all the locations that are similar to the game.
So I brought him some maps.
Yep, she did in fact bring me some maps, which was very sweet of her, even though it wasn't her idea. And, you know, you know what, Chris, that's what relationships are. It's listening to people's ideas to treat the other person's significant others better.
It takes a village.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Cowboy hat here.
It's not a cowboy hat, silly. That's a buccaneer-y boy hat. See, I was doing it. I was looking for some for Mr. Piggy. Something funny?
Put a hat on the pig.
I did. No, I put a hat on the other pig. Did you see that pig? She didn't see the model we painted.
I wasn't paying attention to what you were painting. I was just online shopping.
I don't remember if I was painting that when you came on, actually.
Painting like a little cabin piggy. Made you captain of the piggies because he's got no spots. He's a pretty clean pig.
He's a clean pig. Is that a pig? He's having a good time, but he got spots.
Dog could make his hindquarters less quality.
You put it.
You might take.
So the spotted piggy thing was Kara's idea, because in Sea of Thieves, you definitely bump into piggies who are spotted. Which, by the way, some of us, we should play Sea of Thieves. I think we'd have a great time in the stream. Kara and I were really enjoying it, and then one day she told me that she had not been enjoying any of it. And I was very confused. I was like, okay, but you said you've been enjoying it. And she's like, no, I've actually been hating it. I was like, okay.
I probably hated it for like 5 minutes, so I was done.
You know, here's the thing, though, Mike. I think capers, I think they do lose a lot of efficiency when you start fighting on land. I think that's the biggest weakness of the caper.
A very pretty Batman sitting on the table.
Who's that?
Like a Joker.
He looks like a
A
Joker.
Riddler.
There you
Sorry.
go.
This two. This is one at the same time.
That one leave. He's gonna be all white.
Tomorrow maybe we can like push the puzzle on that thing and just slip it in there to keep it protected.
Karen, not on the stream.
Not that kind of stream.
So you know it's a medical thing. We're not allowed to talk about it on the
Twitch.
They said it was average. Okay. And that it wasn't infected. Okay.
So what was the problem then?
I was self-conscious. Okay.
Of all the people talking.
You know, I wonder why my area gets so cluttered, right? She throws pens over here. Here's a grocery list.
I put that there because we needed that number this morning.
Oh.
And that wasn't your grocery list. That was all the things that I bought before I went out of town to Window. That was your grocery supplies.
There's even apples in there. I didn't even see the apples until it was too late for me to eat them. Well, I can still eat them. You know what? I'll have one tonight. You hear this? You hear that, Twitchers? I'm gonna have an apple tonight. There's not a damn thing you can do about it to stop me. Not even if you gave me like 3,000 bits. Because if you did, I'd be real sore about it. Okay?
No, don't make me not eat it.
Don't make me eat my apples. I love apples, and if I don't eat it, the doctors will get me,
Oh no.
and then they'll give me an anal fissure,
No.
and then I'll be able to go to the bathroom productively.
What are you doing?
Sweet, sweet apple ASMR. I'm not gonna eat it on the stream. That is, unless you gave me 3,000 bits. Oh, I don't think you were here when this happened, but Locust paid bits for us to do a hot tub stream. Yeah.
I'm not sure she wants to be called.
Oh, I thought I said Lotus. Oh,
It sounded like locust.
I thought I said Lotus. Sorry. Oh yeah, well I'm gonna have a Granny Smith apple. How do you like that apple? You know what? I'm getting sick and tired of your attitude, Chris.
We don't have none of those cheap ass Granny Smith apples in our house. We have like Pink Ladies and Honey Crisp, and I don't buy them in the bags anymore. I buy them individually. Of course, the way grocery prices are going, I have to go back to those cheapo bags.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, Chris.
Not as juicy when they're like tiny and smaller in those bags, so they can fit like 5 or 6 of them. I don't eat apples as much as Dr.D, but when I do, I like the big ones from,
From the bar. Yeah, we know. Honey Chris R for Excuse me? You know what, Chris?
Oh my goodness.
Someone is working on an uninvitation from the housewarming get together.
Woo! Chris.
Only if you're Winnie the Pooh while you eat it. What, you want me eating it? Do you want me to just like poke my head and say think?
Are you gonna start making fun of Snoopy next?
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah, you might want to be careful on that one. Alright, bucko. I'm a pretty big Charles Schultz fan, so you best calm down.
I'm thinking some of this is like his chest, the back of his chest hanging out, so I'm not gonna paint that black because I think we want to do skin there. He's kind of a little topless. Semi-topless. He's got a little mech bra.
Sounds like a Maelstrom thing. Hello, Painter J.
Painter J!
Have you decided to play Blood and Plunder yet?
Do we have like a specific timeline on this?
Those no. Just, I'd like to get them done so that Mike can get his tournament pack thing. Even though ultimately I don't really think we need it, but it's money. Plus, you can use it for demos.
Okay, so like, I got his little peck mech frog.
Okay.
But do you think those are abs or mech underneath his
That's
pecs?
definitely mech.
Okay.
I would just cover the whole thing in black.
Really?
Yeah,
Think
the
so?
whole thing.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me know the next game you are going to jump into, and maybe I'll consider playing that.
We don't know yet.
I'm not jumping into another game. The only other games I might jump into are the other Blood and whatever games.
Yeah.
Which are all... A lot of the models will transfer over. It's a game literally made for people like you, Jay. Olds.
I don't know. I think it's much better than some of the old games. It definitely sounds better than some of the historical games I've heard.
Yeah, it's definitely the best historical game out there for sure. Ain't no discussion on that one. I resemble that remark. I am now an old myself, Jason.
Why do you say that? Why do you
It's because I have a significant other who I've been with for longer than like 2 months.
That makes you old.
I like cooked meats.
Like smoked meats. That's the real.
I've never really liked smoked meats. Yeah, that's one of those weird things. I've never liked smoked meats.
That's
It's
true.
like
I bought that
yeah.
smoked brisket that time when I was
It's like
going out of
me.
town. You didn't like it.
How many times a night do you go to the bathroom? At least once, probably.
At least twice.
No, not at least twice. I definitely get up at least once. Sometimes twice. You know what? We're going into that twice
I
territory.
think you get up twice. You just don't count the second one because it's light outside, and you go back.
That's fair. Yeah, I usually wake up like 30 minutes before I have to wake up, and then I go pee, and then I lay back down again. That does happen a lot, actually. She usually knows when it's happening because I'm crying when I'm doing it. Yep, that's it. You got it. I guess you have been listening to me.
I care about you, love. Pains me that you're in pain.
You may have the age, but we do not grant you the old status. This is outrageous! This is unbelievable! This is unfair!
I'm good enough to be old.
Sit down, Dylan. I spoke out of turn. I apologize. You may have the age, but we do not grant you old status. So the one thing I want to make sure we do is I was talking to Wilmar today because I went and played Infinity today. And he specifically asked me, how is it that you paint white? And I thought to myself, I have shown you guys how I paint white so many times. How is he not caught on? And he said that he's usually just not paying attention to me. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fair. I get it.
It's just the soothing sound of your voice.
Of me talking about whatever stupid thing is in my head at that any point. I want him to have my babies.
So I didn't even notice he was painting white. All I could see was hearts in my eyes. That's what he does keep that picture of you on my phone.
That's wrong person's mic.
I bet Wilmar does too.
But Wilmar got into Blood and Plunder.
Woohoo!
Jason, if that is your real name, not Painter J.
I do love it when we can shiver me timbers and gather us
New crew.
buccaneers.
He's playing natives.
Today.
Natives don't understand how boats work. Yeah, well, who's going to cross the Atlantic in a canoe, Kara? How are they going to invade Europe?
I heard that some Vikings did once. Crossed over.
They did. His name is Eric Leafs, Leafs, or something like that.
I saw like a little monument to Vikings once here in Massachusetts.
Yeah, there are a lot of different ways that you can paint whites. I just noticed I like mine, that like that clean version of it. I think if I were when I move into more like diorama-y type fancy painting, I might have to develop like different kinds of painting different colors just to, I don't know, keep it fresh, I suppose. But yes, you are correct, Mr. Jason. There are many ways to paint many things. But he started with a gray base, and he says that he doesn't like how it looks because it looks too dirty. And I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when you start with a gray base. Okay, well, you know what, Chris? And by Chris, I mean Jay. The next one we're jumping to is probably going to be Blood and Bayonets, which is the Napoleonic version of this game. You can paint colorful uniforms as people parade around in Europe and shoot at each other in lines, like God intended. Painted up 10 models for Bushido, and you used a few of them today. Were you playing, or were you just using them for like D&D or something? Because, Jay, I tell you what. You ain't lived until you've killed me in a historical game.
And you know you will.
You know you'll beat me. You've beaten me in everything we've ever played. Commission. Oh, you did the Inari. Yeah, the Inari are really cool. I love those models. They are absolutely gorgeous.
So, Evan's gone tonight and tomorrow night.
Okay.
And then he'll be back Tuesday night, leaves Wednesday. So.
Like back to Europe?
No, he'll.
Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday he leaves.
Do you want me to kiss him?
No, I just wanted you to know that he won't be here the next couple nights.
Yeah, he said he's gonna be with Becky.
Yeah.
It was one game and I had everything stacked in my favor. Well, you know what? You refused to play me in anything else, so I mean, that's just what I gotta go with, Jay. And every time I'm ever like, you should play this game, you're like, no, I hate playing games with you. So we played one game together where literally everything was stacked against me, as you've just said, and you beat me. I cried, and now you don't want to play me again.
Leaving him. Stranded.
I think you're the bully here, not me. So when we do our big move thing with the truck thing, are you wanting to move in that weekend, potentially?
Yeah.
Okay, so like when we move the mattress and stuff, that's the
move.
that's the indication.
If
Okay.
there's tidbits we have to deal
Then we come
with,
back and
we can deal with it.
that's fine. So removing like computers and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm gonna try to get
You did punch my horse. That's true.
I'm gonna try to get the internet situated. I don't think I'm gonna turn it on until next week.
Okay, sure.
But I'll get the internet situated. We gotta get all the utilities switched over to utility. I may put one of them in your name, like electricity or gas or something, so you can start having just, utilities streamed.
Okay.
In case I die. You're like, how have you never had utilities do
Kara intends to not be alive in like 2 years. You did punch my horse. That's true. I will say I was very
What game was it?
disappointed. It was Mordheim. I was disappointed in how the night thing works in that game. Just the fact that like you can't set up charges unless you have line of sight. But then as soon as you get line of sight, you get shot with something. You don't even have to get wounded. You have to get hit, and your guy practically just lays down. It's impossible to set up any kind of strategy with any kind of consistency, which isn't usually a problem because all of you guys are stupid and cheap. But that night guy cost me like 100 ducats.
Okay, do you want him in all black? Do you want his undershirt not black? Black.
I'll paint that something different. I'll paint that like red.
With everything else on him black?
Yeah, might as well. I mean, push comes to shove, I just paint over it.
Yeah.
I didn't like how the rules make people play safely when I just want to jump off buildings and do cool stuff. Well, the rules... Well, here's the thing, though. The rules don't do that. It's just when you have a game with continuity, you have to, like, think about those things. Didn't you almost win? Didn't you almost win the whole thing? Oh, Jay's great. That's why I wanted to play games with us. He's great to play with. He just doesn't like playing games because he's worried he can't remember all the rules.
I mean, I never remember the rules. That's why we got a Dr.D.
That's true.
That's actually it was a hidden perk for me as his girlfriend. I didn't know. I wanted somebody who could teach me the rules to games, but then when I got Dr.D,
That's me.
I was like, wow, this is also a great perk to this boyfriend. He's cute, he's a chiropractor, and he can teach me board games and shit.
I also just randomly know many things that has saved her some, I don't know, some pondering, I suppose.
I randomly know many things, but it's, you know, like...
Who's dating who.
Right.
Yeah. Like, fascinating. Yeah, you almost did. That's what I'm saying. You almost won. So you were fun to play against and you almost won. That's a rare combination. You said not even close. I think I missed what you were referencing with that one.
I really think that this guy has Lincoln's arms hanging out in this mess.
Yeah, that's definitely possible.
I've painted one arm black already.
I mean, whatever. I can. Black is easy to work over. I can just go in there and.
Got like a little like wristlet thing holding his gun on.
What I think I'm gonna do is I'm literally gonna go in there and do like the barest of minimums, and then later, after he gets his henchman-y thing or whatever for that game, I'll go through and paint him again. And just kind of like fix whatever is not actually painted right.
I'd love to see a cyberpunk like black and then that white edging with neon.
That's not the right gang for it.
Yeah.
The Maelstrom's just like, they just wear all black.
I would love to see one like that though. That would be great.
So anyway, yeah, the reason that we are doing all the stuff, or at least the reason I'm doing all the stuff that I'm doing today, is we are moving soon, and these are just like a bunch of these little random things I found while we're cleaning and stuff, and I just thought to myself, like, I should just do this. I've been telling myself I'm going to do this for like years, like a year. Just get it done. So that day you did that poll about me being a cat girl or whatever it was, or some guy named James or whatever. Apparently, Taylor and Dan thought that was like a serious poll, and they were talking in their they were talking in the Old World podcast about how I might be dressed like a cat girl or something in the stream because that was what people were voting on.
See what I can do for that. Might have to be like our first stream in the new house.
He trusts the cat girl. No, well, we got to figure out how to do a hot tub stream where it's not really a hot tub, but it's like me in a bathing suit in a shower.
Maybe we just green screen or something.
Green screen, like a really
AI
crappy,
some AI overlay on you.
super crappy looking hot tub. I suppose that could work. See, as soon as I mentioned hot tub, we got two people that joined.
Oh man.
Yeah, they know.
The hot tub.
They know. As soon as you start talking about it, that's when they pop in. They're like, "Yo, I'm into this."
I'm into the hot tubness.
Actually, let me paint that while I'm thinking about it. This guy's name is Professor Piggy.
Professor Piggy.
Yeah, that's why he has a hat. Well, well, well. If it isn't Dr. Catgirl, well, what can I say, man? I do love me some catgirling. Me and Wilmar got to play Infinity today, and he annihilated me. Will it make me sweat? I hope so. I mean, it's going to be such a good overlay. People are going to wander in and be like, wow, where's this sauna coming
How
from?
is this even Twitch legal?
Yeah.
So high. We'll give him some overlay of text too.
Wow.
Just one more. Just gotta look kind of creepy, but he's got round eyeballs, which softens the look a little bit.
Will it make me wet? Well, I'ma get on in. The old hot tub song that I don't remember who made, that he sent me last time. Chris, you can't just live in the 70s or whenever that song probably came out. You can't just live in that time period. It's the hot tub. It's in the hot tub, yeah. You gotta move on, Chris. You can't just live in the hot tub. You have kids now. They need you. You can't just sit in a hot tub all day.
Wait, is Chris's kid the one that almost got hit with that beam that time? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
I've known Chris a long time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Me and Chris, we could go to Canada together. We'd be friends.
I'm gonna live in the past. Look at that. He's ready. He's ready for the blood and plunder. You're very welcome, Omar. I'm glad we could finally play. I'm sorry I haven't been able to come to that league as much as I wish I could. But every time I'm about to leave, I'm like, alright, Kara, I'm going to go hang out with my friends and make financially secure decisions. And she's like, meow. And then she pulls out the old fucking contract. You know how it is, you know.
Hi, Dr.D.
That you're contractually obligated to me. It's like, shut up. What list did we play? We did 150. 150 points. Sorry, bub. Yeah, we did 150 points, and we were playing Uplink Center, which I actually think is a pretty good scenario. I'm actually a big fan of that one. And I played 012 vanilla, as I often do. 150, I don't really take that point total very seriously because it's just kind of swingy in a lot of ways. But, yeah, every single time I did anything, my guy would die immediately. So, like, you know, the usual stuff. I didn't pass any armor saves, except for my Moonraker. My Moonraker was the one thing that actually passed rolls, and look at that, it did a lot of stuff. But, yeah, my, you know, my gun person comes out, shot, missed, got hit. My other gun model that I had come off the side of the table, came out, shot, got crit against. And then after that, it was mostly me just struggling to do anything, and I got creamed. And he was playing Bakunin. Alright, so something I think that's really cool is, like, look at this and look how dark it looks, you know? It's just like a fence in the dirt. So we're going to put some of these colored tufts on it. These are all from, Too Big, Huge Miniatures Tufts. We're not sponsored. Hashtag not sponsored. But I absolutely love these things. They're great. The glue on them sometimes is a little stiff, so you'll actually yank them, the tufts off, and it won't give you the whole thing. But they actually stick together pretty well, so if you glue the bottom of it before it like starts to separate, you can actually still get a little bit of a tuft action going on, and they actually look a little bit more like ground flowers, I guess, if that makes any sense. Oh, it was 100% the regular. Yeah, it was the huge. Yeah, it was the huge. By the end of it, I was like, what just happened? Like, why? What did I do to deserve this? I had fun, yeah. But it's a perfect example as to why I just don't take that game seriously anymore. I can't play a game and talk on a podcast about trying to become like a tournament player for this game when I can't even like shoot the gun. It's like I can't shoot once until I like die. I had everything in my odds, you know. I was like, oh yeah, you know, I got Mim, you don't. I get you out of cover, roll the dice, I die. I'm like, okay, well, I guess that's just what's got to happen. Blood and plunder it is, you say. Interesting.
The universe has spoken.
Yeah, ain't no doubt. Because I don't win blood and plunder either, but at least I don't feel bad about it. Not that I felt bad about today. We were just having a good time, but 150 points is definitely a little on the swingy side. Sometimes I just have to wonder, like, am I being punished? Like, am I being punished for something? Like, what did I do? I got some Braves, so I played Blood and Plunder. That's true. You do. I actually have a couple models I can give you too. I bought some natives to use as fighting, like named characters for the British, because the British can have native allies. But I have some of those. I don't know how you pronounce them. Penesses? Penesses? Well, shit. I guess, it was a treat. Yeah, when I rolled 17 4 times in a row. Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff. Yep, that did happen. I was like, I just want to throw this smoke grenade, please. please just let me throw a smoke grenade. We're gonna throw this guy into the painting rotation, Mr. Wilmar. We're gonna get him painted so that when you eventually stop running from me, we can actually play some friggin' Batman. And you're gonna like the next model we pull out the paint here in a second. First, I'm going to show you how I do my white, because I remember you were asking me that today. So I'm going to pull one of my sailors like up, and I'm going to paint that. Actually, I'm going to do that first, and then I'll pull up the other thing. Touch that Batman game unless they have a King Tut. I don't know if they put King Tut in the game. They do have. I know he's not a faction. They did put in a lot of the Adam West villains though. Like I know the Joker from there is in. Julia Newhart, I think her name is. The Catwoman's in there. The Penguin's in there from Adam West. Because King Tut was that was from the. He might also be from the comics, but that was like an Adam West thing, wasn't it? That was like one of the villains that kept popping up in that show. Because it was stupid. A lot of the B villains from Batman are in that game. So there's like Polka Dot Man. Even before like the movie, Suicide Squad made him, I don't want to say popular, but a little bit more well known. So there you go. Look at that. He had some flowers and stuff like that. And it just kind of blends right on in. So what we would do is I would have a square that I would use as like a area terrain forest, and then I would just put this on there to just kind of give it a little like filler. But that's all done. Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit of skin real fast on a couple models, and then after that we'll paint the shirts on these sailors, and then that's how I show you. I'll do the white. Tut was pure. Adam West Campy. Okay, yeah. Crazy Quilt's in there, yep. Gentleman Ghost is in there. That's a random one. Yep, they did Egghead. Is King Tut in there? If you check the website, if you can. I'm not sure. I know of King Tut. I just don't remember if they ever put him in the game. They might have. I want to say they might have put him in the game. I feel like I've seen him, but he's definitely not his own faction.
Walked away for 1 minute, and this terrain is in my way now.
Just put it. Yeah, just get it off the table. I'll varnish it later.
I'm just playing with you.
Do you want me to keep the music so you can hear it? Gentlemen, turn! Behold!
I really have no idea
It's
full
yeah,
and
just
everything.
that's fine. Yeah.
He got a lot going on. He might have a problem.
I think that's the leader, so he's the most mech'd out. Push comes to shove too, if you don't go do anything at the house or anything, we could always do some kind of blood and plunder thing tomorrow too.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. You're off tomorrow, right?
I am.
Or are you gonna take stuff over?
Yeah. No! No! Gentlemen, behold! Corn! Oh, well, Jesus, I don't know what the point of this is. Don't forget that guy. That's where we're working together as a team.
I do like that.
Does anybody want to give me any bits so that I don't have to be in a team with Karen anymore?
Wow.
I'll act very aggressive and make her feel unwanted.
Wow. Asking for bits to make me feel bad, that's like the ultimate negging.
And you can't even be mad.
Yeah, because I want the bits.
Give her that emotional torture. She doesn't know what to feel. Yeah, but in all honesty, don't get into the game, Chris. The company that makes this game is literally AIDS.
What game is it?
Batman.
Oh. Yeah, yeah. I wish it was better.
Game's good. Company's got trouble.
It's not my favorite type of gameplay. I'm not a huge fan of cards.
Yeah, the card thing. It is a bit of a thing. I think the previous edition of the game was much better. Just because it was a little bit more like stereotypical type mini game.
Did they still use the cards?
No. Like some of the objectives would be determined by what characters you took. So like if you brought Catwoman, there would be like loot on the table, and that was like obviously her goal.
Yeah.
Or if you played any of the like criminals, they always usually had some kind of mechanic for them to like rob
Right.
something or another.
Yeah.
excited Nina was when I told her how we were moving.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it." Yeah, it's got a good little beat to it. Chris is gonna, you know what? I guarantee you Chris is gonna win the drawing. This is what's gonna happen. He's gonna be in France. They're gonna win. He's gonna win the drawing for the free boat.
What?
Because a random player from the winning faction gets, this year they get a free 6 rate.
Well, France isn't gonna win because pirates are gonna win. They're just, you know.
About all that.
We're biding our time. We got a solid strategy. You guys just don't know about it.
Biding your time. Are you biding your time in first place?
Yeah. We're gonna come in and swoop in at the end, and you guys are never gonna see it coming.
But you're already in first.
Yeah, well, never see it coming, will you?
Yeah? Well, I will?
I think we're in second. I think the natives are in first.
No.
It changed this week.
Yeah. France might be the one in first. All I'm saying is that France called pirates dogs. They literally called you guys animals in the last chat thing, so.
I mean,
I don't know if that's
France.
probably some
I
writing on the wall.
I can't get too worked up about their strange opinions. They eat snails. They've got probably worms in their head, just like RFK Jr.
Interesting.
I'm gonna save this guy for tomorrow night.
Sounds good. Said sounds good. Notor victore est assure. Alright, listen. If you're going to use that kind of language in this chat, I'm going to have to kick you out.
Woo!
Alright, Chris. Don't come in here speaking no European. I know you just got back from a trip to Europe. So you might want to calm down.
Yeah, don't be European being over here in this US of A, man.
Yeah. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to be like, oh yeah, well, Yellowstone's not Europe. And I'm like, no, it is. Is it pretty? That means it's Europe. Hey there, my friend. It is wonderful to see you making art. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Dan. It's always good to see you, my man. How have you been? I hear you were doing some RPGs with other Dan. Always a privilege to get to talk to you, my man.
Anybody working on anything tonight?
Yeah. We got any painters in the stream? We got any painty boys?
Or girls? Or theys or thems?
That's true.
Don't mind Dr.D. He forgets that there's other people in the world.
You know, and actually, in that same train of thought, there are a lot more trans painters on Twitch than I actually had any idea that there were. There's actually quite a few, and they're all pretty good. Which that's pretty cool to see. Had a weekend of time with my 6-year-old and 4-year-old godsons. RPG with Mr. Cole has been a blast. Good. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad he got into that.
Awesome.
Yeah, because he mentioned you in the last Bess episode, where you were in one of his adventure things, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Dan jumped in. That's awesome. Dan, I gotta say, we always appreciate it when you help us do our stuff. Like, you don't understand how much we appreciate the stuff you do for us. Chris, you just got back from Europe. How are you not painting? I would be foaming at the mouth after a week away from my paint table.
That is very true.
Like, I really want to paint right now. Me and Iron Maze and Bruce Leroy and a gent from Australia, great group. Yeah, because I think they were saying that you guys were fighting like a vampire or something, and Bruce Leroy threw a knife or something and like knocked him off a wall after you like broke his elbow or something, and you guys like dogpiled and killed him. I was like, man, what an ignoble end for a vampire.
Up all night to get lucky. Up all night to get lucky. That's what I think of when this one plays.
Is it the thing that's about to come out of this thing?
It just sounds like a lot. Like, they took some of the music out, but it really sounds like the very basic of that song.
Yeah, translating Italian to German to French. Yeah. Yeah, that's what he was referencing. That's right. And it was apparently you had to make like 2 very, very difficult rolls, like a 15% chance on each roll, and you had to pass both in order to get it. And I was like, yep, that's how these go. You guys are a bunch of goofballs.
That's the whole point.
We'll be back on the horse tomorrow. Well, you know what, Chris? That's fair. You gotta get something ready for when we play on Tuesday. Because I think me and you were playing Tuesday from the sounds of it. Because we gotta play Legendary Commanders. That's next week's thing. You gotta play an expensive, historical, or legendary commander. And you probably have some French ones you want to try.
That means I gotta do Blackbeard, huh?
No, it's like 21 points or something like that. You got quite a few options. You could probably play Horn of Gold.
I don't want to try
I think Black Caesar would count too.
Doofus and his ladies.
Oh, Jack
Rackham.
Rackham. I don't think he's expensive enough, but like I'm gonna check right now. Play a game using a historical or legendary commander with 21 points or more.
Well, he's not 21. He's like 8 beside himself. But with him and the girls, it's almost 21. It might be over 21 with the girls, but I don't know if that really counts.
Yeah, I don't think that counts. Yeah, how much is he? Vane's not enough. Yeah, Jack Rackham is only 8 points. So you can play Black Bart, you can play Blackbeard, you can play Olivier Labousse, Levessier, Black Caesar does count, Benjamin Hornigold, yep, he's in there.
I might do Black Caesar.
Yeah, Black Caesar's good. That's what Jay used last time we played. He's pretty solid, especially if you can remember Ruthless. Because everybody gets it. Hi, Wilmar. You gonna play DeGraff? Yeah, that's cool. I'm in. I'm gonna play Captain Morgan again because I love Captain Morgan.
Got a thing for him.
I do. I just love the way he stands. I really have been wanting the Kickstarter Henry Morgan that they released when the game first came out because it's the Henry Morgan model, except he's got his foot up on a Conquistador helmet. I really want that. So if anybody randomly sees one of those for sale or something, make sure you tell me.
Did your mug ever come? You ordered from eBay?
I never bought it.
Oh, send me the link. I'll get it.
Okay.
Send it to the new house.
First thing that gets delivered. Our new neighbor's gonna be like, wow, a child must live here. Children.
Schultz is very adult. That's why all the adults in it go. They do that in Rugrats too, right?
Nope.
That was another weird cartoon that did that.
We'll have a pirate off. Because we're talking DeGraff and Henry Morgan, man. You can't get much more quintessential Buccaneer than them. DeGraff was awesome. His like actual history is super cool. He's DeGraff is probably as close to real life as you could get to Jack Sparrow. He's just a goofball that does crazy things. As far as I'm aware, he's the one that got the whole idea of sailing your ship between two boats and shooting at both and having them shoot each other while they're shooting you. That like he's the one that did that. Buck. But I'm gonna outbuck you, so I'm sorry. Sorry, Chris. We're almost done with the skin, Wilmar, and I'll show you how to do the white.
I'm a real fan of apothecary white.
Yeah, if you want to go the contrast route. Always, always down to Buchanan. I'm pillaging it. Hey, hey, oh. Admittedly, Captain Morgan was one of the first times that the English and the French really got along, because they both hated the Spanish. So it was one of those weird situations where where England and France actually like kind of got along. And then old King Louis XV had to lose his head about it. Which made the way for Napoleon. What a weird era for the royalty, especially in like France and England. King George III was a bit of an odd one once his brain got cooked by from that virus, and King Louis XV was just kind of like a fat idiot. But you know, one thing he did have going for him: his wife, her hair was a boat. So that was a thing. You know who his wife's name was? Miss Cara. I thought you were listening. Who was King Louis XV's wife?
15?
Yeah.
Marie Antoinette?
That was her. Madam Deficit herself. You see that promo model from Firelock? Oh, you're talking about the... Yeah, you have one over there, right? The Jack Sparrow model? Yeah, the one for ordering like $100. Yeah, we got 2 of them. Funnily enough, I made the order the day before they announced it, and they actually did give it to me. This guy. Captain... It's like John Finch or something like that. Instead of Jack Sparrow. Apparently it makes a really good model for a drunk marker. So you know a unit is they're a little tipsy. Yeah, that was nice of them, because they announced it literally. I was in Kansas City, and I was like, I really want a boat real bad, because I was waiting for that frigate that never showed up, so I bought a brig. And I was like, let me just buy it directly from Firelock, and then I bought some Sea Dogs, because I always need more Sea Dogs. I think I might have enough of them now, but the the announcement happened the next day, and I was like, oh, I spent like $101 literally the day before, and I was like, well, butts. I was like, should I reach out to them? And then by the time I got home, they'd already shipped it, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I'm not going to get it. It's fine. Not a big deal. But they did give it to me. It was nice of them.
They just haven't disappointed yet, honestly.
They did disappoint a little bit with the retail thing, but that's fine. Welcome back, Mr. X-Baxis. And I did talk to Blood and Pigment, and they were able to send me a promo kit for Summer of Plunder, which we couldn't get from Firelock because they kind of goofed up the order. But all is okay. I had the connections. So we will do an event where we play a bunch of silly scenarios, and we will give out the prizes for that. Also, Wilmar, if you're free this weekend, my friend Yeef from Defective Dice, he's coming up, and we're going to be playing games all weekend if you want to hang out with us. I'm sure that Blood and Slumber. Wow.
Are we playing up here? Are we going? Okay.
No, it's at Brandon's house, probably.
I was like, step butts. We took those tables over here.
No. Brandon lives that kind of direction anyway, so if I needed to grab him. If we did at the house or whatever, for whatever reason. We got plenty of room to audible. Okay, so something that I've started using for the skin that I think has been really, really helpful is the magenta wash that Monument Hobby just recently released with the AMG paint set. I think it's really good for skin. I used to have to like water down my own reds, but this one's like perfect. Nappy time for the skin. How about the Sleepy Pirate game? Listen, Chris. And by Chris, I mean Dan. Sorry, my brain is apparently cooked. Been doing a lot of moving. And it's hot. Every time I've moved, super humid. Yeah, we were up last night. We went to a concert last night. My favorite band was in Guilford, New Hampshire.
That was an awesome venue, by the way.
Yeah, if anyone here has ever had any doubt about going to Guilford, it is a fantastic venue. The New Hampshire Bank Pavilion or something like that. Something to do with a bank. Really, really nice venue.
Yeah, you could spend a lot of money there.
Yeah, for sure.
We did not.
Stop me if you've heard this one. Kara is awesome.
Wow. Never. I've literally never heard anybody say that other than me. She is pretty awesome, though, isn't she?
So nice to hear. My mother doesn't think so.
Kara, why would you need your parents? You have the adoration of people.
That's no joke.
You guys are making me blush.
As Kara can probably attest, since she's got back from Maine, I've been doing everything I can to make her feel real nice
Yeah, he has.
and welcomed back. As you can kind of see, that magenta really adds like kind of a red wash to those darker areas, which I think really gives it a lot of vibe. Really a lot of pop. You won't notice it a lot until the rest of the model's painted, but I've really been digging it. It's really nice. So there's maybe not a great comparison because one of them is more black primed than the other one is more gray. But like this one doesn't have that red yet, and do you notice the difference? It just has so much more like depth to it. And since it's already in this like wash form, it's really easy to use. You just add a little bit of water to it just to give it a little bit more transparency, and you just put it in areas, and it gives it just a little bit of a vibe. It doesn't even have to be like a very deep wash, as long as it hits those transition areas, and then you can even like touch it up with your finger. It gives it some pretty good pizzazz. That is popping. You're darn tootin' there, Mr. Dan.
Keep it popping like Dr.D.
Keep popping out there.
Hey, while we're here, do you have the disc over there? Can you make sure that that Josh episode's on there?
Like right
You have to
now.
right now. Of course.
I'll even double check just to make sure we didn't release it. I'm like 90% sure we did not release that
I
episode.
kind of thought I did do a Josh episode, but I mean, it did.
Sweet. Like Seiya Suzuki Swing. I don't get that reference, Dan. Is that a European? Okay, so Mr. Wilmar, I'm going to show you how I do the white. So I'm going to go real detail oriented on this because someone did ask, and I even noticed this, and I was like, this might be an interesting way to have a little bit more elaboration on it too, for his sake. So we have a black undercoat one and a white undercoat one. This is more of a, he's a baseball player for the Cubs. I don't know sports, Dan. What do I look like? Someone who has time for that kind of stuff and isn't desperately painting, trying to fill the void in his hole of a heart. Are you here, Walmart? I don't want to go into too deep of an explanation until you're here.
Wilmar, we need no sound off.
Okay, here. So, yeah. So anyway, yeah, there's the two undercoats. You'll notice that it might kind of alter how it looks. I don't really think about the undercoat all that much. I might start doing it when I get into more fancy painting, but same exact model. One is more lightly undercoated than the other, just in case that makes it look any different. So this is white blue, Monument Hobby white blue. This is probably one of the paints I have bought the most in my entire life. I've bought a lot of these, and I've probably gone through.
I've used that one a lot too.
Out of all the model paints I own, this is definitely, as far as Monument Hobby goes, this is the one I've probably bought more than one of. Most of the ones that I use from them, I use really slowly. This and dark, the black green, are the ones that I've probably bought like at least like 3 or 4 bottles of this stuff. I go through a lot of this. This is a really good paint. So white blue. You can use anything similar to this. I always used to use Vallejo's white, blue, gray. Or pale gray, that gray blue. Here it is right here. I still actually have a bottle of it. As you can see, it's pretty close. White blue is just a little bit more bright, and I like that a little bit more. So it really is just more a matter of just like preference. But obviously this is just the base coat, so kind of take that as it will. It might skew it a little bit one color or the other, but it's not a huge deal either way. You'll kind of get the same principle. And so
You don't really use like the warm one, don't they have like a
there you can do a warm white. So in that case you would use like yellows and work up more to like an ivory. But he was asking about this specific way. So and now I'm gonna use phthalo blue. This phthalo blue has been sitting here for like a month. I don't know how long I've had this thing on here. This has been here for a while, right? And I literally just hit this with water, even though it's like, it's a wet palette, so it's always like on some level it's a little bit moist, but it's really, you don't have to be picky about it, but you want it to be super thin, so I just keep pulling off of this because it's already not going to come off super easy, and when you hit it with water, it kind of makes a good watery type thing. It's not really a wash per se, but that's kind of how I use it. So anyway, yeah, I take the white blue, I pull out some,
like a pirate song.
yeah, it's kind of Pirates of the Caribbean, isn't it? The white blue is actually a really good color as far as coverage goes. It usually only takes like 1 or 2 coats, which is pretty crazy for a color like this. I have noticed that this model, this color, is really sensitive to water on palettes. So this paint, for some reason really specifically, if you leave it on a wet palette and it dries, it will act a little funny. So in that case, just get more of it. Yeah, the white blue. I assume it has something to do with the pigment size, because it is a very light color. And as even you can even see on my palette, there's like I have some here, I have some here, I have some like here. I'm constantly using this stuff. So are you glazing the phthalo blue? Kind of. It's like the weirdest mix between a glaze and like a wash. But I'll show you. Yeah, glazing is probably the closest word you can get to it. And obviously this white will look a lot better once it's on a model where there's colors next to it. So like when, you know, in this case, once I start painting the scarf and stuff like that, it all really starts to sing. But it's super, super easy, super, super duper effective. I get a lot of compliments on my whites. Looks good to me. Yes, he is. Give that a sec to dry. And obviously, on a darker primer, it might take more than, it'll take more coats. Like it might potentially go into three coats of white blue in order to get it to work. What are you working on tonight, boss? Today I'm just working on a bunch of stuff. I'm like trying to clean the desk. So some of it's yours, some of it's other people's.
Wilmar wanted some white help.
Yeah, Wilmar wanted some help with a specific color. I painted like some terrain. I finished that up real fast. It's like the day I'm taking a bunch of stuff that's been sitting half finished around my desk and on some of my shelves, and I'm just like kind of wrapping them up. Because we might be moving into the new place 2 weekends from now. We've been doing a lot of moving. Did you go to the Infinity League thing at AO yet, Mr. Ernesto? I went today. It's a good group of people. I was actually there today, and I was talking to the guy that works at the store, and I saw the mats. I was like, wow, these are really nice mats. Whose are these? Are these the stores? And he's like, no, these are Wilmar's. And I was like, I don't know where these came from. And he's like, oh yeah, he said he got them from some guy who was supposed to like, who said he was gonna come in for the leagues or whatever, and it clicked. I was like, oh, these are the ones that Ernie, these are the ones that Ernie ordered like 1,000 years ago. We'll be next week. This week was spending time with family. Okay, I'm glad to hear it, man. Yeah, I always forget how nice those deep cut studio ones are. But there's definitely a need for people who have played the game before there, because they are doing some things that I don't even blame them for doing it the way they do. But there definitely needs some experienced, some shepherds to help with some of the rules. Not that it was anything like egregious. It was like a bunch of like just little things that you wouldn't know until you've kind of put yourself in that position. You know how Infinity is. Like when you're playing, you're just like, I would have never thought of how these two rules interacted until literally right now, and now I don't know what to do. Now I'm scared. But yeah, I'm glad I could help, Wilmar. It was my pleasure to help. But like I said, I didn't get asked a single question today that I thought was like unreasonable by any means. It's just like there is just a lot of those really weird, minutiae type questions. And I think that is an excellent thing to have on the show. So like when I have you come on and we do that episode, these are the kinds of things where I think it would be good for us to talk about, where it's like, these are some of the things that people who don't have an established member of the game, this is how they thought it was played. And I think it might help other people who are trying to like start up some leagues or whatever to be like, oh, well, maybe we do it that way. So it might be helpful to somebody out there. So I think that'd be really cool. The whole bit with unconscious people on the board was actually massive. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like but that's the thing. Like when you don't really think about it, it doesn't seem like a huge deal. But then all of a sudden you think about placement and the way certain weapons work, you're just like, oh, actually, this makes a huge difference. It was so funny because in our game, we literally had that situation come up in that game where you couldn't do the template because it was on a friendly model. It was like it literally happened like an hour later. I was like, see, it does happen. Oh, God, I thought that was just amazing. He showed up and I got him to leave. He got him to leave real quick. It's a learning process for is there helping the whole yeah, if you don't get things wrong at least once in a game. Yeah, no doubt about that. For sure. That's a great show idea. Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I think that it's those little stupid things that people just don't think about. And then even if somebody like the leader of the community listens to like lots of podcasts and all that stuff, I think a lot of the podcasts just kind of assume you know like these little things. Like every time I go back and play Fantasy, it's always a case of, oh yeah, well, you know, this rule works this way because there's like a section of the book where this thing happens or whatever, and I'm just like, I would have never known that because I don't play the game regularly enough to like get all those little fringe situations. So obviously that works for a game that's, I think, more not stupid than than fantasy. So obviously those situations are going to come up, and I think it would be helpful. Just trying to do my part. Okay, so Wilmar, as you can see, I've done 2 coats on this one. This is when it starts getting weird with the camera because it's legitimately like so white and blue. Like I think that if somebody were just painting an army hobo style, this is good enough for just a white. Like if you just left this, I think if people who don't paint their models all that fancy like we do, I think that would be the white. Like I think they could just get away with that. And I think that's crazy. Because you know, everybody's complaining about how hard white is, and I'm like, it's literally, you could literally paint it out of the bottle. Like, I didn't even add water to this. Well, I guess maybe a little, because it's on a wet palette. I guess you could say there's some water in it, but yeah, it's definitely, it's crazy how effective it is right out of the bottle. The podcasts get it wrong. The Gorilla Miniature YouTubes get rules wrong all the time. Also, when it comes to fringe rules, you start hitting rules as worded versus rules as intended. Yeah, and then I think that comes down to more like a local community thing. But I do think that Gorilla Minis has an interesting like viewpoint that we may not be able to understand because of the fact that since they're Canadian, they are a good example of how different countries interpret rules because of the fact that they might use language differently than like the United States English. And we're already taking the rules from another language, which is Spanish. So we're taking talk about like a Bible type situation, right? Like we have a rule set that we copied from another language that we interpret a certain way, and then other people who speak the same language are going to interpret it differently. But also, when it comes to the Gorilla Miniatures guys, I like Ash. I think he's a cool guy, but Owen is a good example of somebody who just like takes shit way too far. Can you point your camera a little closer to your chest or put your model out further? Yeah, sorry, I'm getting cramped on my desk. I can definitely move it up a little bit. This won't be the case at the new place because I'll have more room. I'm not going to be in a corner. Still got enough room. Because people try to paint actual white paint. Yeah, white paint is always like notorious really bad. Also, okay, so yeah, I definitely recommend you wait for this to dry because the phthalo blue is going to be a little rough. So I'm going to leave that just for like 1 second. Because what you're going to notice is what we're about to do with the phthalo blue is really kind of, I guess abrasive might be the way to put it. And while white blue is a really great color, even the Vallejo version of it with pale gray blue, it's really fragile. It sticks a little bit less firmly than a lot of other paints, just because of the fact that of the pigment content of it. It's not super dense. So you just want to make sure it's nice and dry. You don't have to wait long, but because of all the water that we're about to put into the phthalo blue, there's a chance it'll rip it up. And it'll make it look a little funny, which isn't a huge problem unless it happens to a super big area. Down a tiny bit. Okay, here we go. So, you take your model. And you're going to take that phthalo blue, right? We're just going to use that right there. And we're literally going to, and like I said, this has been here like 1,000 years. And you just take some water, and you get yourself like kind of a watery mix. You put it on there, and you notice it's still pretty blue. And that's okay. You want to make sure you wipe off a good chunk of it. You still want it to be a little bit more on the watery side, and then what you're going to do is you're just going to hit the recesses. It's going to look god-awful, but trust me. So you go in there, and you just want to get it in the crevices and make them look kind of dark. So you want to go for the shaded areas, so like under armpits and cracks of clothes where it meets other articles of clothing, blah, blah, blah. And this is going to leave kind of a rough edge. That's actually, funnily enough, not going to be too big of a deal, and I'll kind of show you why in a second. But the smoother you make it, the better it'll be overall. But if it's a little too harsh for you, you can just kind of wipe a little bit off. It's not a huge deal.
This is your world.
Do what you want. Any day's a good day when you paint. But if you rub too much with this watery stuff, it will rip up the white blue. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to get that white blue back on. Because of the way the hydrophobic-y, philic-y thing will want to work. And the good news is that, like I said, even if you get it in an area a little bit too, like maybe you cover up too much space, in a weird way, it's actually not a terrible thing because it might make it look a little bit more interesting. The one thing that I have done, because I've been tempted to do it and it seems like it'd be a lot easier, is to just wash it with that blue. Don't do it. It makes it look really dirty, and you do not want that. So you want to make sure you're kind of targeted with it. You definitely don't want to wash. I've done it enough times to know that it's a mistake. I'm always thinking like, oh, it'll be different this time. And then it's not. Yeah, it sure is. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll show you what it looks like when it dries. It looks so bad. It looks terrible when it's done. And it's because you're using a really strong blue. That's why I think it has to be watered down a little bit, because if it's like too blue, it'll look kind of weird. But it's okay if it's like the first couple times you do this and that gets the case. It'll kind of get the point across. Once you do it a couple times, it'll kind of click. Where you're like, oh, okay. So yeah, like the way you were describing it, it's definitely a glaze. Because you're just looking to kind of tint it. I have tried this with other blues. I've tried transparent blue from Monument. It can work. So like this one. So transparent blue, it's a little bit stronger, so you really got to make sure this is watered down. Like a lot more than the phthalo blue. But you can use any kind of thing like that. You might even be able to use like a contrast, like a blue contrast, as long as it's nice and dark and it's nice and watery. Yeah, so you can see right there it's starting to tear it, because as when I pick my brush up off the thing, you notice it'll come off with the brush. So that tells you it was either not dry enough, or you're putting so much water on it that it's starting to reactivate. Don't panic. Just kind of step away from it. Kara's flirting with me. Send help. Send help. Okay. Okay, here we go. So then, you look at what you got.
Okay, I'm done, so you can use my space now.
Yeah, the next place you might have to paint next to me and not on the opposite side.
I was gonna get another desk eventually, so that I could still paint on the other side. But if you'd have your own and I'd have my own. Like, have another one of these, but here. We've got rooms.
Anyway, so, yeah. It's kind of hard to tell in the camera because the camera really bleeds it together. So I'm going to take a picture of it and I'm going to put it in the whip. I was going to say, where's my phone? Yeah, I look forward to that. Oh, Mike, you sent me a thing. At 7 o'clock. Raph charged my boat. A defensive fired, and he hit his third fatigue. What happened with it? The charge would fail. If you hit that third fatigue, you fail the charge, Mike. Let me write that down. Okay, so do you see that picture? And as you can see, you kind of see that blue undertone to it. Now, in that picture, I've been doing this for a long time, so I've been able to kind of soften those edges. Some of those edges, when you do it, might be super rough, and it's not great per se, but it's not the worst. So then what you do is you take a very good solid white. Again, I highly recommend heavy. I love heavy titanium white. It's a really good pigment for a white, and it has really good coverage. So you give yourself a good shake of that. Give yourself a little dollop. And then you take the pure white, and again, this is less of a glaze, probably more of a layer. I really like the heavy one just because, like I said, it has better coverage. You add a little bit of white to it. This one you don't have to worry about tearing up the paint, just because since it's on the upper ends, it doesn't really matter in a lot of ways. So you take this paint, obviously, and then you just start hitting the edges. And then what you'll do is as you go over those areas where that transition line is, as long as it's got just enough transparency to it, it will almost like blend itself, because the blue underneath it is really, really powerful. So as you paint this over it, as long as it's not too thick, it will kind of bleed through the bottom of the white, and it will pretty much like, it'll almost like shade it for you. It's kind of crazy. But the white is not like super transparent. It's just a white paint, so everything underneath it is going to be much more noticeable. And then you just hit those high points. So you hit the high parts of clothes, anything that would be like in more direct sunlight, whatever it is you're painting. You know how it goes. And what you can do is you can actually create different tones of white based on how much of that blue is there. It's kind of crazy. So what you could even do is on a flat surface of white, if you wanted to add some variation to it, you do this technique to it. And what'll happen is, depending on how much of that blue is there, as long as the white is like fairly even, it will create like variations in tone, and it can look real cool. So even when I do that more often than not, there's the folds in the clothes. So like this fold, again, it doesn't really show up great on this camera just because the white is like so reflective, but there's like a pretty dark spot right there. What you could do is you could even put some of this white into that crevice, and if you pull it out of it, it'll blend it into like a different shade of that blue, where it'll look a lot more light. And it is a fantastic way to get those little transitionary areas to look really, really good. And again, if you just like every other paint, if you water it down and cover up these things, it'll start to pull, and then you could like do an actual like white glazing effect. But I just noticed that this blue does a real good job of making it look like a really cool looking white, which I adore. So as long as you take away those harsh lines from the blue, it'll look great. It helps that you know how to paint already, so you don't have to worry too much about like learning how to like, you don't have to learn how to like make the wheel again. I forget who I learned this from. It was definitely a YouTube thing I saw. somebody was using blue, and I was like, that's not gonna work. And then I just started doing it, and it's been my
The wheel.
my go. That's my go-to. The wheel. So like here in this under area, I really just coated the whole thing with that blue. So like right here in this armpit, I've just coated it all with that blue, and it all looks just like that color. But if you take this white and you pull it along like the heightened ridges of the cloth and stuff, it'll still be darker than the pure white areas, but because it has that blue, it'll if you hit it with the white, the blue will kind of keep it in check with the rest of the stuff in that area, and it'll look really good. And you've seen my white, so like this, so when you see it, like you can actually like, when I say, hey, this is what it's gonna look like, you've actually physically seen it, and it doesn't really take that long. You're just like wham, bam, thank you, ma'am, and there you go. Look at that white shirt. Duh, wheel. I wonder if hitting it with transparent white at the end would be a good idea. I find that the transparent white is a little bit too thin, but you can try it. I don't think it's a bad idea. The transparent white, if it's really, really thin down, I think would be a great way to kind of just blend all the whites together. My only fear is that if you do that and you bring the blues up a little too much, it will make it look flat again. And then you just kind of go right back to what it looks like if it's only with white blue. And that might be what you're after, and if that's the case, then great. I prefer the increased contrast from the heightened, like the stronger blue tone in the undercloth. But that is probably that is, I think, a purely personal preferential thing for me. And there you go. That's where I would leave that. And that took me like 10 minutes. Now just do it 700 million times. And again, it doesn't look great on camera just because of the fact that the whites don't really look good on camera. Because it bounces light more readily than black does. But again, here, you might even be able to tell the difference, right? So here's the exact same model, again, right? And then if this thing would balance. Dang. So as you can see, even, it's kind of subtle, right? And again, the camera doesn't really help, but this one does look darker. Just because I haven't put the white on it yet. And then this one actually looks flatter because the white reflects that light. So again, not great on camera. This would be something to do better. It'd be better to do this in person. But generally speaking, that's how you get the job done. My way. My way or the highway. I have to stop painting white stuff on camera. I've noticed just because it doesn't want to cooperate. Also, I was painting white Vans on this guy, so I should probably shade this now while I'm thinking about it. Daniel, coming out with the white Vans.
No more whites on camera. Got it.
Yeah, that's what I said. Alright. Alright, Buster Brown. There you go. Boom. 2 more sailors that are real close to being done. Now, if I could just stop painting like striped pants and stuff, these guys would be like actually easy to finish. But I want my models to look good. Yep, so there you go. That's that. Okay, so this is what we're going to do next, because I think it's going to be fun. This is a model that has been sitting on my desk for a million years. It's Riddler. It's Edward Nygma. I believe this is the one from Arkham City, I think. He doesn't look quite as rough around the edges as Arkham Knight. And he definitely doesn't look like the incel from the Pat-Bat movie. Riddle me this, riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? So I'm just looking up his outfit. I'm pretty sure it's just all green with a white question mark on the back, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, super stereotypical. It's like green and purple. Green, purple. What color was the question mark? It was like white. Riddle me this. Riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? Because this is him with the gloves, right? Yeah, purple gloves. The bowler hat. Yep, bowler hat. Been a lot of different Riddler outfits over the years. Yeah, so like purple, so white shirt, purple trim, purple gloves, green bowler. I don't know what color the thing is on the back of his head. On his back. It's like, I guess it's like yellow. Just go with the yellow. We're going yellow, boys. We're doing it. We're making an executive decision. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know, right? Really pulling, right? Pulling from the back. I want to play the Riddler gang. I love Riddler. Edward Nygma's like one of my favorite villains. He's great. So I've had this guy since like 2nd edition because I wanted to play Riddler back then. And this is the Riddler that actually gets on the board that you can like punch. Like all the Riddlers now aren't on the table anymore because of that intel stuff, which I think is a really cool way to do it. But damn it, I'm gonna start painting Batman stuff. I have almost the entire gang, so there's no reason for me not to. Riddler and Mr. Freeze. Super common enemies. I still have the League of Assassins somewhere. That'd be cool. League of Assassins cool. Obviously, I'm assuming you got. Do you have you got the race stuff, or did you go more Talia? can truthfully say that that probably wasn't my favorite rendition of Riddler from that Bat movie, but I actually still I loved that movie. The movie was so good. I adored every part of that movie. It was not a perfect movie by any means. I could nitpick it, but oh my god, what a atmospheric masterpiece. I loved that friggin' movie. That part where Bruce is chasing after Riddler in the Batmobile, I lost my effing shit with how cool that scene was. Where he's just like driving away and he's like, oh, no! Like the Batmobile's like driving through the fire. Oh my god. I thought that was so sick. Yeah, I adored that movie. It was so goddamn good. You may or may not have Raish. I also might have Raish. I know I have some like random League of Assassins stuff that I got in a lot once. I don't know if it has Raish in it. Because Raish I think was a separate box. Because when that new edition came out, it was like the gang box, and then they had like the leaders on those really big base things. And Raish was one of the big ones, and I don't know if I have Raish. I have a random box of Batman stuff. So if you find out you don't have them, I might. You just found it. That's good. Enigma, I think, has Enigma's brown hair, I think. Yeah, it's kind of like an average brown. Riddle me this, Kara. Riddle me that. Who's afraid of the big black bat? They do. You know what else they do?
Fight crime.
Punish criminals. What's gonna come out of the gun? Injustice. Tools of cowards and criminals. No, I'm gonna pull the trigger, and what are the bullets gonna do to Rachel? Is it a bag of steel-cut oats? Well, Wilmar, you know what? When we do the first stream for PCN Massachusetts Division, we should definitely do a game that no one would ever expect us to play. It should be Batman. And we're both playing Cruz. We don't know how to play. What a thing to watch. People would fly in from all over the world to watch that one. You even found your Sinestro Core model? Sick. Dude, the rumors were they were going to eventually redo the DC game, and then they just, like, went totally dark. Yeah, anyone that's watching this, do not support this company. Let Night Models die. They deserve it. They're one of the worst companies I've ever seen in my entire life. Absolutely. So bad. Jesus Christ.
Wow. Tell us how you really feel.
It amazes me that that company... The only reason that MCP exists is because that company is as bad as it is. So if you're an MCP fan, be happy that Night Models is as god-awful as they are. Yeah, they actually released a ton of models. I checked their website out like a month ago or something like that. But apparently, if you look at all of their different, like, because I'm on some of their fan stuff still, apparently the company's just gone dark and their app stopped working and they just don't answer emails. So the best thing that could happen for this game is that the company dies, some other company takes over. Or it dies and a community run version of it takes over. Yeah, absolutely 100%. Anybody that thinks about giving money to Night, don't. Wait, their app's don't... Well, yeah, supposedly their app is like acting funky, where a lot of people just can't use it anymore. I don't know. I haven't used it since like the last time we played, so I don't know for sure. But the people in the Facebook groups are definitely saying like they can't use it to like play with certain things or something like that. There's some kind of issue going on with it. And apparently somebody in the group actually went to their HQ in Spain, went to their front door and said, "Hey, do you know about all these issues?" And they said, "Yeah, we know." And then they got the dreaded, "Yeah, we'll do something about it like soon," or something like that. I'm just like, okay, guys, it's been 6 months. Please die. How are we going to play if we can use their app? So I haven't really messed with it lately, just because obviously we haven't really been talking about it. But at some point, I'll take a look at it. I might do it tomorrow.
Yeah, we know. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, what are you gonna... Yeah, right. It's a sad day for some of these companies, man. Like Simon's going down. GW is a company that exists. If Night Models has the Marvel license, they would give Namor characters for. Yeah, they sure would. They sure would. Like, I guess in some way it'd be kind of neat if AMG also got access to the DC license for, like, I don't know if this technically counts as a board game or how the licensing for that works, but you could have DC versus Marvel. I think that'd be kind of neat. Simon shot them. Yeah, Simon is also a very bad company who have been doing themselves no favors for the foreseeable amount of for the past very long amount of time. Didn't Simon have some crazy number of pending Kickstarters? Yeah, they have a ton of them. And they pay for the previous Kickstarters with the next Kickstarter. Which stinks because the Assassin's Creed RPG was one of the Kickstarters. The books came out, but they had these models. They had a model box that was supposed to come out with it. Some of the coolest models I've ever seen. And I was like, ooh, I'll buy the hell out of that box. I'll spend way over MSRP because it was a Kickstarter exclusive. It loads up, but doesn't let you do... Okay, so yeah, there is a... Great. Great. Wonderful. Yeah, and yes, 100%. So yeah, I was even thinking about that when I was making the jokes and stuff. We may not actually even be able to play the game. But I'm sure there's some kind of solution to it, community made. I'll do some digging at some point. Just add it to the list, you know. Just one more dead game to add to the pile. Yeah, well, the good news is that this one, it wasn't like we were going out to play this one, so this one we can just play on our own. We just need a quick little solution on how to do it. No biggie. And if push comes to shove, if it's just a bunch of DC models to paint, then you know what? Fine. I can live with that. On some level. As much as I don't like it. Is it Arkham City Rejects, probably? It's funny because I was in there for a really long time, and I was a pretty active member. And the it was always funny because I would see other people like in other games, and I was always like, oh, that's sad. Because technically that's where Discourse came from, was Batman. She originally kind of came from Batman miniatures game fame.
I need you to do me.
Okay. I don't know if you noticed I'm streaming.
I know, but I gotta go to bed soon.
Alright guys, Kara needs me to adjust her, so can you wait till I'm done with this base coat?
Yeah. I meant to have you do it before we left today, and I forgot. But I did bring your clicker in from the truck.
Yeah, I know, the Game of Thrones game. It's a shame. No, I can't believe it. No. That was gonna be their moneymaker. No. The laziest game ever made. One thing I never wondered about Gotham is, you think the criminal, like, investigation department would track some of these villains based on, like, some of their purchases at, like, Walmart? Like, it's so weird. There's this guy who bought 700 paints of green paint. How weird. Oh, what's his name? Oh, his name is, like, some ancient French philosopher. Huh. Well, then that's just weird. People around here are so strange. Or how it's the 2nd anniversary of the 22nd Bank of Gotham. And then when Two-Face strikes, they're like, oh my god! How could this happen? We didn't have any idea. It's like, comics. Yes, but Venture Bros will slay. How will Batman arrest Jamie Lannister now? Best euphemism ever. Okay. Noted.
Bubby, what are you doing? Why are you looking at me like that? Oh, you want some scratches? Oh, he's a sweet boy tonight. Oh, he lost it. The niceness went away.
Did you plug the clicker in?
It's over there.
Okay. Well,
What's over here?
I moved it on top of the. Listen, they have to deal with the one guy who only does crimes on holidays, and and this other clown who leaves clues to his upcoming crimes. Yeah, I know. They got a lot of stuff. Yeah, they got just a lot of stuff they got to deal with on a daily basis. You think, man?
He has to do his crimes on holidays because he probably has to have a real job in this economy.
Well, his name is Calendar Man, so I doubt that's the case. Probably because of the fact that his name is Calendar Man. His name is Julian Day.
What do you do? Go away. I was gonna give you some sugars. Oh, he came back. He's a sweet baby. He likes his riding baby, honey. He got to sit in the back seat on the way home. He was all comfy.
So whenever I'm adjusting Kara, the dogs usually start, or Bubby starts like howling. So if you hear him in the background, I'm gonna adjust her. I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then I'll be back. Alright, guys, I will be back. Probably be like 10ish minutes. Be right back. Can't rush perfection, Wilmar. I said I was going to the bathroom. Can I not go to the bathroom? You guys are running a slave operation here. Shish! Can't even go to the bathroom. Got somebody complaining. Rude. You know, Wilmar, the crazy thing about rolling all those 17s was that it wasn't like it was the same dice. They kept rolling a 17 out one after another. Use the Twitch provided bottle. It's not really a bottle though. It's more of like a sake cup. I'm fancy like that, you know. No, you're just no, you're just cursed. I've been saying that. I've been saying that for years. Nobody believes me. Everybody's like, no, you're not paying attention to when you're real good and when you're real bad. Yeah, that's probably what it is. You're right. You're right. Yeah, but to put it into perspective, Wilmar, I think we should still play Batman with whatever community type fixes are out there. Obviously, I think we might not actually be able to play the game just because they don't print cards for the models anymore. But there might be some kind of like downloadable thing that tells us like the costs of the models and stuff like that. As long as you have the deck, then it's, you know, we can make it work. It's not like a huge deal. You got PDF. Oh, great. I'm sorry, I must have missed that. Yeah, great. And even, I guess even with the decks, we could just print the cards out and just kind of play it hobo style. That actually wouldn't really be that hard, would it? I think one of my favorite examples of night incompetence is there's a YouTube channel that really liked their game. He plays a lot of like superhero-y type stuff. I think his name's Fink. Oh, by the way, Hobby Bunker has a sale 20% off until the 20th, and they have the new Monument Hobby. Oh, do they have the new? Ooh. Oh, that's mighty tempting. I might have to go there tomorrow. Thank you for that heads up. You talking about the ones in the tubes? Yeah, oh, sick. Oh, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Okay, well, that might alter the way my day works tomorrow. Did you get them? Out of curiosity? I might do that when I'm winding down for bed. I might do some research and see if it's actually something I can use. You heard? Okay, you heard. Sweet. Feeling better?
Yes.
I adjusted your sacrum, so that might have inspired you to want to go to the bathroom.
Well, I felt like I needed to go earlier, so I'm glad that you did that. I couldn't.
Goes to show you, audience. Kara helps with a lot more than just back pain. You know, it's always weird when I do this green. I always think that this mid-tone green is not very good as like a color. Like I just kind of don't like it. It's like it's a little too plain. But then as soon as you add that bright green on top of it, it looks so good.
Man, every time I paint a model, it reminds me how much I love metal. I just love metal models. I just noticed as I get older and older, I appreciate the metal so much more. I don't know why, but even when I was like even younger, I just remember thinking to myself like, I don't get it. I don't like metal. It doesn't stay in one piece very well. It's hard to build. It's harder to build, and you don't get like the options or whatever. But I don't know. As I get older, I just noticed that I really, really dig metal, and I think metal's kind of had this, like, in a weird way, like a renaissance, because I noticed that I feel like resin sculpts have, like, the same love to detail that a lot of these old metal models used to, but it's a lot cheaper to produce. So I feel like a lot of these companies are able to kind of hit that weird era of metal models that they might not have been able to do back then because of just how expensive it was. I just find that the plastic models just don't do it for me. It's too bad the metal is getting more expensive, so a lot of different places are moving away from it. Yeah, so that's why I'm glad that the resin is able to kind of take that slot. Currently working on getting what I can in metal from companies I see moving away from it. Yeah, it's definitely a dying, I don't want to say a dying art form, but it's definitely something that I don't blame companies for moving away from. Even GW, they're releasing like models. Like for Lord of the Rings, they released a new Prince Imrahil. I was like, I couldn't believe it. Like a new, like, I guess plastic. I'm assuming it's plastic, since it's in one of those boxes. What was I saying? Oh yeah, Prince Imrahil. So Prince Imrahil has a new plastic model. I couldn't believe it. Because I really want to play. When we were playing Lord of the Rings, I really wanted to play the fiefdoms. just because I love the character of all those different like factions. Because you got like the Klansmen and the Knights working together with the Rangers and stuff. It's just such a like a cool army concept. And Prince Emerhill was like a really weird. It was a great model for what it was when it was metal, but when you're metal and you're like kind of like in that shape, that model is like destined to break. And now that they've released a new plastic version of it, like I saw it today at the store, and I was like, ooh, holy crap! I didn't know they had I didn't even know they released it because I haven't been paying attention. I was like real tempted to buy that thing, and I was like, now is not the time. I am not playing this game, but holy crap, a new Emerhill. That's not what I was expecting. Play Rohan.
Oh, not now.
Oh.
Or bed.
Oh, you mean when I get up there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I want you to read that sentence and you tell me that's what you meant.
Well, now you can't say it's the alcohol, okay?
I know.
It's just not great late at night.
Have I not treated you much better? You know, poor Nigma here, he ain't got much of a butt. He got himself a big old brain, but he ain't got himself a big old badongadon, that's for sure. Yeah, I would be tempted to play Lord of the Rings with you, Wilmar. I don't know the new rules. I know it's not that different from the old edition. I'm sure we could like painfully get through it. But I know a lot of it comes down to, I was watching a video on some of the differences, and a lot of it just comes down to, like, when you roll to see who goes first. I think the winner of the roll gets to pick now, like, you don't have to go first. Yeah, go play with the Iversons again. I mean, do you know where their house is in comparison to where the office is? It's like, you keep going past my office and you take a left, like 2 roads down, and you're there. I mean, we could also play the last edition. That's true. Well, that's true too, actually. Actually, I think I might still have all the books. That's a good point. Yeah, they did. I don't think everybody has said that the new edition is good. I think the big issue with the new edition that people have had is it took them, like, apparently they still haven't released one of the army books for a lot of the armies, and people are kind of angry about that. But I think everybody said that the rules themselves are better. And the other thing that people that haven't liked is when it comes to army construction, if you modified your models to have like some kind of weapon that the kit doesn't have, you can't use those anymore. They can only have like certain loadouts or something like that.
Kiss my ass. I'll use whatever fucking model I want.
No, you can use whatever model you want. You just like, back in the day, if you switched out their axe or whatever, you could give them like a maul or something, and you could just say that's what it was. But now it's like the model has to have the thing that the model is equipped with, so that when you buy the box of unit, everything in there is like what they can be equipped with. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. It's stupid, but I thought that was kind of that was one way to do it, I guess. But yes, I have a lot of Gondor. I got a lot of Gondor, and I got a lot of Isengard. And I had a slowly building up force of fiefdoms. Whatever. Point I'm getting to is I'm willing to try it. I might try to see if I can get the rulebook for free. But I'm down to try. That delicious green. Focus. I just like the difference. Like you can definitely tell. Like there's where that you start putting in that bright green yellow, and then this is where before you start putting it in there, it's like such a wildly noticeable difference. It just completely changes the way the green looks. It's crazy. Big fan. Chap. Oh, time. Congratulations. Don't you usually have an early meeting on Mondays? Don't you usually have an early meeting on Mondays?
My
Good night. See you tomorrow. So yeah, this is just a classic case of this green triad being the best. You get so much like depth out of it. That black green is such a good base. It's so good. So good. Absolutely some of my favorite paints. I love throwing green on damn near anything, and just because I really love this triad. And it works really well on a dapper fellow like Mr. Nigma. Mr. Nigma. What did you think of that Robert Pattinson Batman movie? Mr. Wilmer. Or Chris, if you've seen it. You think it was decent? What did you think of that rendition of Riddler? Like, did you like that more modern, incel-y take on him? I thought it was good, but didn't love it, but it had some good parts to it. Okay. My general take on it was, I think my only qualm with it was Bruce himself. Like, I think the Batman was like spot on, but I think his Bruce was a little too emo. But that's a minor nitpick on my end. You didn't care for Incel Riddler. Yeah, I think he was weak. I think he made a really good villain. I just thought it was kind of weird that he was Riddler. Oh, you guys like countered on that. You like the incel-y take a lot. I thought it was okay. Like I said, I think it was similar to the Joker from Ledger. Like, I don't think he was a very good Joker per se, like a comic accurate Joker, but I think he was a really good villain. So I'm willing to kind of like, I'm willing to just be okay with it. Obviously, I'm a big Batman Forever fan. Nicole Kidman at her finest. Riddler was in that one. Classic Jim Carrey. Again, I really enjoyed that like rendition of it, and that was like the Riddler I grew up on. Knowing what I know now, not a very good Riddler. The Two-Face, not good. Harvey Lee Jones's Two-Face was not great, but that movie is so good. I love that damn movie. Did we actually figure out if King Tut is in the game or not? Or are you just saying that? Chris, I wouldn't want you to play the game anyway. So, I don't care. I don't care, Chris. I don't care. Tommy Lee phoned it. Oh, dude. It was so bad. it was such a bad role for him. Like, I watched it so much when I was a kid. I watched that movie almost daily because of how much I loved it. Like, I can quote almost that entire movie.
And I had no idea who Tommy Lee was. I had no idea who he was. I had no idea who, like, Jim Carrey was. Not Jim Carrey. Yeah, Jim Carrey was. No idea who they were. Because I hadn't watched any of their other movies. I was so young. You know, you get, like, a couple VHSs and you just watch the living butts out of those. And I distinctively remember thinking to myself that this is the greatest movie that's ever been made. But then as I've gotten older, I went back and watched it again. Not that long. Must have been like a year or two ago. And I had no idea who Nicole Kidman was. I didn't understand what my male parts did back then, you know? Like what I didn't know what being attracted to a girl was like. And then I watched that movie again. And when I was a lot older, and I was like, oh, interesting. Nicole Kidman is very hot. I once read that Tommy Lee did not like Carrie. Oh, no, they hated. Yeah, supposedly they hated each other. I mean, what I don't understand, like, knowing what I know now, Tommy Lee Jones is a phenomenal actor. And there are certain roles that he just works with. Two-Face? Like, what? Especially when in the movie beforehand, in Batman, I think just Batman, right? Batman? Because that's the third one. No, the first one. It was Batman, I think it's the one where it's set up, because I think it's the one that still has Michael Keaton, is that who it was? Yeah, Michael Keaton, I think was Batman in that one. The guy who plays Lando Calrissian, I forget his name. His name's escaping me, but he was supposed to be Harvey Dent, and he's not in the movie very much. He's kind of just like a little cameo, and you're like, oh look, it's it's Harvey, it's a Harvey Dent, he's gonna be Two-Face, yeah, and then he gets acid thrown on him. But in the movie, then all of a sudden it's Tommy Lee Jones. And again, I didn't know all this when I was younger. Like, this is all just like stuff I've learned definitely a lot more recently. And like, I think to myself, like, why Tommy Lee Jones? Like, Tommy Lee Jones has some phenomenal roles. Like, stellar Magellan roles. Like, Abe is one of my favorite movies. I absolutely adore... Like, Abraham Lincoln is, like, one of my, like, all-time favorite historical, like, people. For a variety of reasons. One, he was a great president. Two, he killed vampires. I mean, who doesn't find that somewhat inspiring, But, like, he was the villain in that movie, if I remember right. I think that was him. Absolutely loved him in that. What's a like classic Tommy Lee Jones? Fugitive. I think he was the detective in that. Yeah, Billy D. Williams. Thank you. Yeah, that totally blanked. Totally blanked on that name. He was the cop that was chasing Harrison Ford in The Fugitive, right? Am I right on that? Is that the right movie? It's funny because in the Lego Batman game they fixed that Two-Face thing and gave it back to Billy D. Yeah, okay, thank you. Yeah. Alright, I'm glad it wasn't just me. I just thought to myself, I was like, how weird. Like, they had Billy D. Like, why Tommy Lee Jones? Like, I'm sure if we go back in, like, some contract or whatever, Billy D was like, yeah, man, I ain't playing no stupid movie. I don't know why he sounds like Jeff Goldblum. I ain't playing no stupid movie where I'm playing a white, I don't know, guy in a Tim Burton movie. I'm just not doing it. It's crazy. I gotta be Lando Calrissian. Oh, 100%. For sure. But you would think, like, just for the... Because it was all supposed to be, like the same... We don't think about universes as, like, back then as much as we do now. But, like, D was already in the role. Like, it had already been established. Like, oh, yeah, Lee is Harvey, right? And it's such a pointless point, right? But it just makes me wonder. It's like, but why Tommy Lee Jones for Two-Face? Like, I don't see it. Like, he's such a great dramatic actor. and Tim Burton, Tim Burton, Batman movie. Don't see it. Did not see it coming. No. And I think that's why he phoned it in. He probably saw that script and like the direction it was going, and he was like, "What the hell is this? What the hell did I just get myself into?" And apparently Jim Carrey's supposed to be kind of a lot to deal with anyway. I think I've read on multiple little things that apparently there's a lot of actors that just like don't like him. But I think it's cool, you know, because Tommy Lee, he definitely seems like he's like a De Niro type, where like you can like he tells you what he thinks, as far as I could tell. Like De Niro, like you definitely know his political affiliations as soon as you meet him. Because, like, I know D was in a couple pretty good movies, but, like, I just can't think of a lot of movies that he was in. Like, obviously Star Wars, that was definitely his big one, right? And then Batman, obviously we were just talking about it. And then after that, I can't think of a movie that he was in that I watched. Carrie was like Robin Williams, the persona never switched off. Yeah, for 100%. Like, I can imagine it gets annoying. Well, because apparently with Robin Williams, he thought he just had to put on a show for everybody. And apparently Robin Williams didn't do well in one-on-one situations. Because he just couldn't deal with, like, I don't know if, like, intimacy. I don't know if that's the right word, but he just had a lot of problems on a one-to-one basis. So I feel like he was always putting on a show. The Billy D. Williams movie you ought to see is Nighthawks. Okay, I think I've heard of that. Billy D's still alive, ain't he? He never did pass away yet, right? He's like kind of doing rough. Nighthawks. Okay, I'll have to keep that in mind. I might reach out to you again and ask you about that one. It's not like I have time to sit around and really do movies anymore. Does Nighthawks have something to do with? Does that have something to do with like lawyers? Is that like is that a crime drama? I feel like I've seen it before. Some of the like I don't want to say adverts, but like the plot. I feel like I've had described. I've definitely never seen it. So, okay, well, here we go. Here's the discussion. What's the best Batman movie made? I think that all of the different Batmen have different things to add to, like, I think it's like the Spider-Man, right? Like, I think all of the different renditions of Spider-Man in the movies, I think some have done certain things better than others. Like, none of them are perfect. So, let's just assume they're not all perfect movies, which they're not. But, what is everybody's favorite Batman movie? That's where I think Bat takes it. Like, I think that the Batman, I think was probably my favorite Batman movie. Not to say that I don't really like the other ones. Best Batman movies are like... I haven't watched the whole thing. I think I watched like a chunk of it when I was flying once. And I do distinctly remember thinking it was very funny. Especially how he adopts Dick. Like the other kids in the orphanage call me Dick. Kids can be very cruel. And knowing stuff about the actual Batman universe, him being like super attracted to Babs is a little weird to me. Even though that kind of happened, like, I don't, some Batman comics, they get a little weird, right? When you get the female legacy characters in there. But him being super attracted to Babs, I feel like a little weird, because, like, obviously, age isn't as much of a factor in the Lego universe, just because, they can be as old as they want or whatever, but Bruce is a little bit older than Babs. It's like twice her age. Not that it's like a big deal, but it's a little bit of a weird one. That's one of the ones where I'm just like, I don't know if I like that one. I mean, probably The Dark Knight if you like not if you like not laughing. If you like not laughing. I like to be miserable in my movies, actually, now that you mentioned that, Chris. I really just want to feel the epitome of sadness. When you say The Dark Knight, like which one? Was the first one called The Dark Knight in that trilogy? Admittedly, I'm gonna say this is actually kind of surprising. I never saw the first Nolan one. Oh, I guess that was the Dark Knight. What was the first one of that movie called? Batman Begins. No, it's not Batman Begins. The Dark Knight Rises. My God, I forgot the names of these movies. Was that The Dark Knight Rises? Or was it Batman Begins? Was it Batman Begins? Batman Begins. Okay, which one is Batman Begins? That's the Bale one. That's the one where he fights the League of Shadows, right? That's like the first one in that trilogy. Yeah, that's the one I never saw. Yeah, okay. That's the one I haven't seen. I legitimately have to go back and watch that one. I watched the second one and I watched the third one, but I never actually watched the first one. So there was some references in the third movie that I missed because of that. But all those movies were coming out when I was like going through a lot of school, and it just kind of skipped. I just kind of missed them, which is weird because I'm such a Batman fan. And the third one had its difficulties. Like that Bane was weird, really, really weird. But it was okay. It was fine. Everybody thinks, I don't know what it is. Like, I'm a pretty big Catwoman fan. I got a tattoo of Catwoman on me, right? So like, I'm a fan. I've always found Selina to be an absolutely fantastic character because she's usually she's got a lot of depth, right? She's super interesting. I love powerful women. And so everybody's like, oh, you must really love that movie because of Natalie Portman, I think, played her, right? And I was like, that Catwoman did nothing for me. Absolutely nothing. Nothing. It did not feel like Selena to me. So I'm not sure. I just like it just didn't do anything for me. And I also don't understand, like, don't get me wrong, I think Natalie Portman's like a lovely looking lady, but like she's not my type, shall we say. So it's not like, even looks wise, she didn't do a whole lot for me. But she just didn't strike me as having the Catwoman body type. And she's another one of those actors where I've never really seen a movie that she's in that I've really enjoyed. Because, like, The Clone Wars was not a good movie. Kind of in general. Like, it's okay. There's a re-edit of Bane being obsessed with nutrition and everything. I can't see it. Being obsessed with nutrition. Alright. Alright, I can get behind that. I like nutrition. One of my favorite memes is definitely the guy in the green suit doing the whole, like, his arms outreach thing where he's facing off against Bane. I always really love that meme. That one always gets me. And, oh, sorry, Anne Hathaway, sorry. Well, there you go. It just goes to show you, I still don't care. Anne Hathaway's still not doing anything for me. I am a poser. I'm a big poser. I'm not a real Batman fan. I would have known that if I was a real Batman fan. Poser. Shut up. So anyway, yeah, the Catwoman I thought in the Batman I thought was closer to Selena. It was definitely very reminiscent of a young Selena if you read her I don't want to say origins, but some of her comics when she's younger, she actually did. Zoe Kravitz, I think it was. I think she did a pretty okay job. I'll be honest. No complaints from my end. Again, not really like my type as far as like looks go, but you know, I thought she pulled it off a lot closer to the comics than Anne Hathaway did. To me, Anne Hathaway was just like a super generic. Like, love interest. Oh, that's a shirt. Butts. Oh, I guess that's fine. I'll make it work. Maybe, have you ever thought about this, Wilmar? Maybe I think all women look the same. I can't tell. I think they all look great. I think Kara's a paid actor and you have never actually spoken to a woman. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. You guys are figuring out. You guys are gonna know I'm a loser. No, I've never talked to a woman before. No. No. A paid actor. As soon as she goes upstairs, she just takes off that wig. It's just like a bearded man. This is Dylan's incel Riddler origin. You got me there, bud. You might got me there. So now I have to like get a really crappy video camera and sound like I'm talking through a wet tube. Like, Jesus Christ, Riddler, please. I know you're trying to mask your voice, but God, dude, you're gonna give yourself like a pneumonia talking into that thing. Whatever it is you're talking into, bud, it does not sound clean. But that was the cool thing about the Gotham they did in that, was that city just looked filthy. God, it looked like a trash heap. And I loved it. Maybe I should do that in yellow. Yeah, we'll do that in yellow. You know he never watched. You know he never watched that mask thing he used. You're absolutely right about that. You are 100% correct about that. He was too busy making riddles or whatever the hell it is he was doing, breaking into people's houses and like choking them to death or whatever the fuck it is he was doing. But that's the thing. Like, I think he would have made a really good Mr. Zsasz. Like, I think that he would have made a really, really good Mr. Zsasz. And it would have made perfect sense because Mr. Zsasz was the first Batman, like named villain kind of thing. Like the first, like, kind of esoteric type villain that it wasn't just like a gangster. So it would have made sense that he would have been his like first villain. And also, Mr. Zsasz is kind of effing terrifying. But I don't know if you could have a Batman movie that anybody under the age of like 35 could be able to watch in theaters with Mr. Zsasz. That guy's he's a bit of an odd one. Oh, he's even got a little question mark on his tie. That's so cute. Do his gloves too? You know he never washed it. I know who you are, Batman. We could take down Gotham together. He sounded like friggin' Jaw or like Saw. He did not sound like a shark. He didn't sound like Jaws the shark. Sorry, that was my bad. They're gonna need a bigger boat. You know, before we fully wrap this up, Wilmer, I gotta ask you something really important. Just tell me when you're ready, and I'll ask you, so I know you're here. Who you taking to the friggin' Super Bowl? Who you taking to the friggin' Super Bowl? Make sure she's paying up in general Discord bit logs. Okay. I'll save it for watch later. Boxy Brown.
Boxy Brown.
Boxy Brown. Man, they were clucking around us like a bunch of chickens. It's because they was chickens, fool. You went to a friggin' farm! I got diabetes because of you. Oh, man. So, while Wilmar debates who he's going to bring to the Super Bowl, I'm going to thank you guys for coming to hang out with me at this stream. Guys, thank you very much. It's been a great stream. Had some laughs, that's for sure. Had a couple laughs. Privilege as always to get to hang out with you guys. Had some real highlights. Got to see everybody. Everybody was here, except Tizzy. Tizzy wasn't here. I thought he was, but it was Chris, who is an even more consistent person than Tizzy. And that's why we love him. And because Chris is a little cutie. Chris is a cutie patootie. But he's married, so, you gotta be careful. Gotta be careful with him. Gotta handle with care. Handle with care. He's buried underneath hundreds of... Josh wasn't here. He's buried under hundreds of undelivered packages. Hundreds of them. I don't know what's been going on with him lately. He's been kind of like just not around. It's weird. I suspect something's going on with him. He's probably... I don't know. Who knows? It might be work. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. That's for sure. But guys, thanks very much for coming. It's been fun, as always. We will be here tomorrow. And it will be Blood and Plunder time. Because it's Monday. The Summer of Plunder is still going. I'm thinking that, as much as I keep saying that I don't want to do it, I think I'm just going to finish these damn Dutchmen. I still haven't finished. I'm just going to finish these guys. They're so close to being done. It's just a lot of black and stuff. It's just a lot of, just things that take a little too long. Not really a bombshell. I'm more the girl next door. But that's what I love, Chris. That's what I love about you, Chris. Is you don't have all that flashy accoutrement. You're just you're boiled down the best because you're good at a lot of things. Everybody wants the bombshell, and then they forget what's really valuable. It's that girl next door who is just a good person and just cute. If you go for the bombshell, it's not, it's like, what are you doing? You're forgetting the core tenets of what it is I'm looking for the long-term stuff. Okay, Chris? I think you're my more long-term, I'm at that age now where I can't do that anymore. I can't go for the fun. I got to go for what's real. And Chris, I think that's you. I think that's you, baby. Yeah, thank you very much, guys. I'm gonna finish his hands, and then I'm gonna go throw these hands. You know what I'm saying, guys? Guys? Anybody? Guys? Anyway, yeah, we'll be here tomorrow. We'll definitely paint some Blood and Plunder, which hopefully Wilmar's going to join us with soon. I'd love to be able to actually play it with him, but I don't think a single unit of 4 Braves is going to be enough to even do a small demo game. But I'll figure it out. Might have to do some proxying. I'll figure something out. We'll get him. We'll get him in there. Yeah, guys, it's becoming a real thing. We are not too far from the idea that we might be doing gaming streams on one of the streaming days, which would be really cool. I think people would really dig that. We'll play a lot of different games. Some of you guys might have the opportunity to come on and hang out. Join the Arachne crew. Play some Blood and Plunder, play some Batman, Lord of the Rings, all kinds of stuff. Sky's the limit. Need a ton of canoes. Yes. Actually, I don't even know if you need a ton. Maybe 4. I think I've seen a lot of people do 4. And we can always play land games. It's not that big a deal. I like land. I live on land. I'm quite partial to it myself. Quite partial to land. We have so much in common. Do you live on land too? Yo, dude, that's sick. But yeah, guys, thank you very much for hanging out with me. Arachne is, we're doing what we're doing. If you have anything that you would like for me to talk about on any of the shows or paint, like today was a good example. Wilmar had asked me how to do the white, and I just love having the opportunity to come on here and do that. So if you have anything that you would like me to show you specifically, or anything to like specifically talk about any of the shows, I'm more than down. You just gotta tell me. I'm down to clown. But guys, thank you very much. Edward Enigma saying goodbye. He's coming together pretty well. I might finish it. Again, I always say this. Tomorrow I'm probably going to be so busy doing moving stuff I might not even finish, but who knows. Andre wants a Hawk. Yep, he did want a Hawk lore episode. We will. Yep, he was the one that asked me to do that today. That is more than likely going to be the case. Varuna, I think, is going to be the next thing we talk about, and then I could put a Hawk. I could put a Hawk lore in there. But yeah. So a lot. Yeah, there's just tons of stuff in the background that we can do, and I just love doing this for you guys, and it's not for the money, I'll tell you that. But if you do want to help for the money, Patreon, Professional Casual, and if you want to help me out specifically, go to the Digital Nomad tier. That's really, really helpful, and it really helps me afford all the stuff that I need. So if anybody's ever like, hey, paint this model, I can be like, yeah, sure, I'll go buy the model. I did buy that Namor box. There's a 0% chance that it will get sold. It will 100% get painted on stream at some point. It's just life's been kind of insane. It might be one of the first things I do at the new place, but we'll see. Nova kind of took over a lot of attention, but Nova's next month, which is kind of crazy to think about. And we'll just taking it day by day, guys. Taking it day by day. But I'll be here. So guys, I love you. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I should be here at 7. I don't think anything's gonna get in the way. I don't think we're doing anything other than just simple stuff tomorrow, like moving and yada yada. But I will talk to you guys then. And